And hello everyone, and welcome into yet another live stream. Hi there. Are you the only person here? Well, you might be. I need to reply with SATKIT to Master. Okay. Alright then. Alright then. Alright then. Hi there everyone. Hi the Jack Draw as well. Hi and welcome. And today, I'll make it. What will we be doing today? I am so glad you asked. Obviously we'll be rendering in the background as always. All of these will try to render in the background as much as possible. However, the main thing will actually be science. Yes, we'll be doing science. That'll be the main thing. That's because if I switch to full camera, my workshop, I've set it up. It's all ready to go. So, we will not be working with the mask today. That is just there for the funsies. Hi, the Tefta! I'm sorry, I am in a really good mood. I mean, to be fair, I have been in a really good mood the entire morning. But then, right before the stream, I've rewatched the short you made of testing the band. And your reaction is just... There's just so much distilled into a single reaction. I absolutely love it. It genuinely made my day. Anyway, what will we be doing today? That's a good question. You may be thinking, it is something with the oscilloscope? Not yet. We're not yet ready for the oscilloscope. That's because I'm not doing electronics just yet, because as I mentioned previously, I am waiting for my 3D printer to arrive, because then we'll get into it. So far, we'll be doing software. What kind of software? So glad you asked. It is obviously... Why is it here then? Where else am I gonna put it? I'm running out of space on my desk. The same reason why the mask was here. I just running out of space. Checkup's oscilloscope. That is such an obscure reference. Although I need to open up the... That is such an obscure reference. Okay. Here we go. This is a module, but this is FIXiT so far. That's it. That's all there is to it. These 3 files, with the last one which I'm going to delete. Now, as you remember, if you remember from the last stream, we have, in fact, worked on FIXiT, and we've improved it. What does FIXiT do in theory? That is, you have no idea, Maiden, how difficult that question is to answer. That is really difficult to explain. I am going to dedicate a whole separate series just to FIXiT. And the entire first episode will be dedicated just explaining what FIXiT will be. However, I do have to say, I know that I keep getting distracted, but in my defense, I have, been awake the whole night. So, give me some space here. I really like the mood the oscilloscope is setting, because if I take the code, if I move it to the other corner like this, there we go, and I can just the most expensive desk line imaginable. I've genuinely done nothing with it because I, just like with Jack, just like with my beautiful CNC machine, I want to wait to make like a dedicated live stream for it. And so it just has been sitting here this entire time. All I did is just plugged it in to see if I can turn it on, which I can. I've done absolutely nothing. So yeah. Just turn you off for now. And so, live chat. Oh, that's a good idea, actually. You should measure the signal on it. How do you mean? I don't know if I want to start the oscilloscope, because I know that if I start an oscilloscope, has a built-in signal generator to test the probes. I see what you mean. Hold on, where's the other cable? Anyone remember where I put the other cable? is this from? Yup. So right here, this is an oscilloscope probe. Let me just. Oh, that looks fancy. Couldn't help but notice that is way different from what. Does it plug into the same thing? It seems to. I am getting wildly distracted, aren't I? Again. Alright, no. Make it stay on point. Stay on point. You can do it, I believe in you. Okay, hold on. A sip of coffee. To kickstart the brains. And so, what we will be doing... I really like how the code is behind the make it, by the way. What we will be doing is... I would like to, today, create a module. A simple module into FIXiT that will allow us to communicate via the USB connection with Raspberry Pi Pico, one of them. I don't know if this one, because this one has been stuck in this breadboard since the before times, so ideally we would probably like to replace it with something different. This Pico, for example, also has soldered pins, but doesn't look quite as eaten away due to time. All right, let me just plug it in. There we go, lovely. I've never done this. I have absolutely never done this. I mean, I have connected through USB, obviously, but what I mean by I've never done this is that this time we want to use the USB connection for like, well, it will be either communication. Why does my blender keep doing this? It will be either for communication in between the Pico and my computer for the two Python programs, the MicroPython program and the Python program, or no, now that I think about it, that's kind of the only option, isn't it? Okay. Controlling a Raspberry Pi Pico through a USB connection with MicroPython. However, crucially, we do not want to connect in the classical way. We don't want to control it. Only, yes! Oh, internet! How glad I am that you understand what I meant. Tony, to put MicroPython code on Raspberry Pi Pico. I can do it myself. Unplug a Raspberry Pi Pico. Plug in. Right. Okay. So on the Pico we'll have this, and on the PC we'll have this. Should be simple. Should be simple. What is the FIXiT system? Once again, really difficult to explain. It will be my... I need to come up with some kind of analogy, you know? So that whenever anyone asks me that question, I'll be able to just give the analogy and it will just stick. I'll think of something. Are we trying to make it communicate to a PC over USB? Yes. And in this case, we will have Pico Raspberry Pi Pico W0. Or maybe even better modules. I don't know how. Ah, now I think about it, I should have done a little bit more thinking. No, I don't have to. If we want to move the structure later on, I'll just fix it later on if I have to. Which I will probably have to, but we will just fix it later on. And in the meantime, right now, we would like... main? Not main. Module. Module? Module feels risky. And then if I want to import the module, for now I'll just leave it. Don't import the module. For now, we will just do the whole thing. So if name equals main, or just main. I have gotten so much better at Python already. RP Pico module. Yeah, okay. I have really gotten much better at Python already, because this will, all of the code we'll put in here will run only if we run the file as the main. If we import it as a module, however, it will be excluded. How convenient. Okay, what was all the etiquette stream for? Well, it's this at this point, it's not even about etiquette, it's just I don't know how I'm going to set all of it up. Oh, they do it like this in the sample code as well. Ah, convenient. Wait, do I want COM3? No. My USB connection? There is my USB connection. Why do I feel so sleepy? So you already are connected to it via what program, so if you make it a USB device, you would look out the feature to program. Oh, hold on, I need to read that again. So you already are connected to it via UART to program it. So if you make it a USB device, you would lock out the feature to program device and brick it. Oh, I see your point. I do see your point. That is a fix. Hold on, that's fixable. I do feel like that's fixable. Because hear me out. You need two UART connections, one to program, one to communicate. Wait, but hold on, because if I right here, right? I don't know if you can see. Let me make this a bit bigger. Polling object. Wait for the right data is in print. Poll to check if the data is in the buffer. I mean, I suppose worst case scenario, I need to nuke it. I should probably check if I have something on this Raspberry, because I'm not certain. I might actually have something on this Raspberry. I don't think you can do that easily the way you talked about it. I mean, right here... right here, the Stack Overflow post with 8 upvotes seems to believe it can be done with just this code. And if I can switch through the... And if I can switch through the type of connection with software on the Pico, then a hold button should fix it. Unless I'm misunderstanding. Hold on. Make it in this... first things first. Most important. We need to check. We need to check. Failed to get MicroPython version and machine type. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. That's really bad, in fact. I mean, worst case scenario, it is a W. Worst case scenario, I can just connect it over Wi-Fi. I'd rather not, because it feels like a very awkward walkaround, but... Okay, so there are two possibilities. Either the Pico is burnt, or it doesn't have MicroPython. And it's kind of a 50-50. I have this one, which I do believe has MicroPython, but I also do believe it... Wait, there has to be a Python module for just... Wouldn't there be some kind of Python module for controlling microcontrollers this way? Now I think about it. Because that feels like a very... I just plugged it in. Never mind, the connection was just bad. Use the oscilloscope to check. I could, I suppose. I will have to... You know, Tefta, we'll have to find some kind of time when you're free so that you can teach me how to use an oscilloscope. Are any of you my messages showing? Yes, they are, Lycan. Yes, they are. However, I'm not gonna be grilling ya. You are very, very clearly, as you have yourself stated, quite high. So I feel like responding to your comments might prove to be quite challenging for me. I have next 2 days off. You have the next 2 days off. Well, we can do tomorrow. If my sleep schedule is as I think that it is, then I should wake up around... I should wake up around your 5 p.m? 4 p.m? 6 p.m? So if you have time tomorrow afternoon, I would need the help, yeah. Could use the help isn't quite doing it justice. Okay. Alright, make it. Get it together. Why am I having such a hard time focusing recently? Okay, on the Pico. Okay, it just, I don't know if it just crashed the terminal or what happened. First of all, kill the terminal. Oh, no, open terminal for this. You kill the terminal. Kill the terminal, add a new terminal. Fresh, nothing. There is nothing on it. That's good. I don't know what I used it for then, if there is nothing on it. It's a bit... I don't know if it's a bit worrying or... whatever. Worst case scenario, I'll have to rewrite the code. I've never actually bothered to write anything substantial for any microcontroller, so not much will be lost. Which means that... let's copy the code. Kind of blessing in disguise. Well, I mean, obviously it's great. Oh, do I do it as a boot? I have to do it as a boot, don't I? Let's just review what the code first. It's always more convenient for me to read the code and code. There we go. So we have import select, import sys, import time. Then poll object is select poll. Alright. From select simple. Poll object register standard input select pollen. Okay. So poll object will be the connection. The one is how long it will wait for a message before looking again in microseconds. Alright, not bad. Make it. Have you ever gotten to speedrunning? Not really. Well, I already get way too competitive in games. I don't need that in my life. Read the data from standard input. Okay. Makes sense so far, and then receive data prints it. However, I should set up some kind of no message received. Oh, I have an idea. It might be a bad idea, but I have an idea. Because if I've learned one thing from doing electronics in general, then it's the fact that you should never trust connections. Connections can never be trusted. What can be trusted much more than connections is computing devices. Because computing devices, if they turn on, that means they work on their own. So what I could do is, I could just set up an LED and I could have it turn on. I could set it up with multi-threading, but there is no point. We can just afford to wait. I could just have the LED turn on for 2 seconds if the Pico receives something. There is obviously the likely scenario that my PC is constantly sending data, some kind of metadata or whatever, in which case I would just, well, make the pico unusable. So let's rename it from a boot to maybe, I don't know, connection. That feels safer. And now, what are we going to do? Well, I've done it 400 times by now, but still I don't trust myself. Uh-oh. 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 Ha 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 ha. The connection is absolutely terrible. Ah, that would mean I should pick the other pico, doesn't it? Yeah, fine. Let's unplug this one. I also like the idea of having a massive, comically oversized halting button. I got this set of buttons. There aren't that many of them, but they just look funny. And you know what? Sometimes that is the thing that matters. Sometimes a button looking funny is all that matters. Alright. Pin, one, pin out. Value 1, 0. Okay. Always nice to double check, simply because I do not trust myself. This is the pico we've been using for the mask, or for the code for the mask, because there's another pico on the mask. I have so many picos. Nice looking oscilloscope there. I know, it is nice looking, and so far that is all it's doing. It's just there to look nice. That is all it's doing. Connection.py. I kind of like the idea of having this pico here with just sample code we know works for anything we want. That is really useful. Depending on what we want to connect, we just have sample code. So. Okay. Right. Is sleep a default function? I do believe it was default, right? Sleep. Nope. Import time. I just need to do it lowercase, don't I? Yeah, I just have to do it lowercase. Okay, which means that right here, if we have data received, we'll just do sleep 1. And then right here, we'll just do pin 1, pin out value 0, and then right here, we'll set it to a 1. And what this should do is, if we send some data, very risky of me to just run it. But it's just a con, it's not a boot. We don't have a boot specifically for that reason. Which means if we go right here to the module, then if we, by the way, on which com does it say it's connected? Oh wait, do you just not say on which com you're connected? I do remember it's saying on which com it's connected somewhere. No! Oh, why would you? Whoa, no! Absolutely! Oh, nah! Why would me clicking on it stop the connection? Pico disconnected. Pico connected. Okay, COM9 access denied. Which COM are we on? Will you just not tell me? Because I would really like to know. Also, opening COM9 access denied keeps popping up in the bottom. Ah, great. I'll try to fix it real quick. Try to fix it like... Yep. How about now? Connection to MicroPython board established. Good. Question: what COM are we connected to? Connect, not connected. The subscription. Delete all files from the board. Well, I'm really glad that it's a command I can just use. At some point I will accidentally use that command. I will accidentally wipe all of my progress. I guarantee it. Oh, bless me. Okay. This. COM9. Okay, so it appears that we're connected through COM9 now. I don't trust it, but it would appear so. So let's run the program. Let's go back to the module, and then let's try Python rp pico module pi. Open permission 9, access denied. Obviously, makes sense. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be supremely annoying. Okay, so the obvious problem in this case is that the permission is denied, which makes sense. If we're using that COM connection, we can't like use it at the same time. Now, this is not a world ending, this is just supremely annoying, because the workaround would obviously be to set up this, instead of having it as a con, if we just have it as a boot, then it would work just fine, because then I just wouldn't connect to the Pico in the first place. I would just plug it in for power, and Pico would just run whatever it's running. The reason why it's annoying is because we will need to use the hold button, because if we don't use the hold button, then I will just make the Pico unusable. WeBrepl, what is that? Just get it. How convenient it is to have a... I was just halfway through saying how convenient it is to have a clean workstation, then I accidentally dropped the box of... It's fine. It's fine, I just need to separate them by color. Okay. Repo over the web. Yeah, but as I mentioned, I don't really want to do it over with networking yet. I feel like in the past I've relied... The thing is, I am trying to get outside of my comfort zone as much as possible, because what I think has been holding me back the most is the fact that I keep using same methods and I never do anything else. And in the past, whenever I had two devices, I always used to do it with networking. The first time I did it without networking was very recently with the UART connection on the mask. And in the past I just did it with ESP Now, with Raspberry Pis and such and such and such. This is the reason why right now, for example, I'm not coding this in C. I'm actually using Python like a normal person. What's FIXiT? See, I told you all, I need to come up with a proper analogy. Because that is a phenomenal question. That is a reasonable question considering I titled the live stream by, using FIXiT. But how to explain what's... Okay, so FIXiT basically. Each time I'm going to give it my best shot to explain what's FIXiT, and then eventually I should just come across some kind of good analogy. FIXiT basically will be like a system. Just like a system that handles code, to which I could easily add more code. So basically system will be my, FIXiT FIXiT will be my algorithm that I will add more and more utilities to over time, so that eventually it will be able to do everything. Is a way test code of... Oh, you mean like that? Oh, that is clever. Oh, I completely misunderstood what you meant, Tefta. That is really clever. This code instead of open the comport program, you can edit code on the device. That is really clever. My intuition was just to use a holding button, but that is actually probably way better. Web tool. I was okay. Well, look, these bones already not filling me with confidence. All right. Oh, that's not okay. That's not a great sign. I've had it working reliably, if slowly, with ESP8266 boards, but it doesn't seem to be much fun on the Pico W. Once again, my choices to stick with Raspberry for some reason are coming back to bite me. It's okay, it should be fine. For now, let's just... Because we can still do it. We can still do it quite easily. It's just that we'll just need to implement the holding button. As long as we implement the holding button, it should be all fine. Don't listen to me. No. I do appreciate you trying to help me a lot. I have recently... Okay, it's always been a problem for me, but recently it's been even more so for some reason. Like backseating really bothers me. Backseating really bothers me. I really hate backseating. I don't know, it's just a pet peeve of mine. Everyone has one, and for me, backseating really upsets me, especially when people do it in live stream. But you have a way of helping that is genuinely helpful and doesn't bother me, and I really appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate all the help. It's that when people sometimes just walk in and try to give me tips on how to code when they don't code themselves. You'll know what I mean, right? You know how programmers have basically the thinnest skins of all the people and the biggest egos, and they always feel the need to correct each other. You know how Wikipedia basically exists, is powered merely by the nerds' need to prove each other wrong. Okay, I think the connection is short, obviously. But I feel like, yeah, but I do need to just get better at handling this whole thing. Okay, these are a bit too long. White ones should be much better. Why am I having so much trouble breathing for some reason? Just pop this in right here, and on pin I said we'll just... I need a tool. Ah, my dingus. My trustworthy dingus. Okay. Let's just push it in. Go. Sides. Beautiful. Then we plug in the button. Beautiful. And then we just need to connect it like this. I do have to say, using something for leverage when pressing in solid core wires is a life hack I really wish I knew before. because they bend so easily. But if you press it directly from above, then it is much easier for them to just get into the place they're supposed to. They don't bend. Okay, perfect. 0, 1, 2, 3. So pin 3, we'll just have, for now I'm just going to make a new program. It was going to be called test hold. I guess I can implement this feature. I want to add it to a project we will work. I will try my best then. Okay. First, test hold, because we don't want to mess it up. Mainly because if I mess it up, then the pie becomes sort of unusable unless I nuke it. And this is kind of a lot of... To be fair, I do have all these files saved, but still would be shame to lose it. From machine import pin, and then sleep for 2 seconds. Actually, no, don't sleep yet, because we're not implementing halting yet, just while not halted, we will pin 1 pin out value 0, and then halt it 3 pin in. And is it pull down or pull up? Well, fine, let's test it. From machine import pin. I never remember which one is which. Pull. Oh, dot value. Right. Pull up. Okay, so if this pin pull up is equal to 0, then halted is equal to true, and also dot value. And then once it goes to the end, then we do pin 1 pin value 1, and then sleep 2 and turn it off. So if we run this program, it's doing nothing until I press the button. Sleep isn't defined. Okay, do I really need to import time, but then it just imports sleep? Because last time I didn't do time.sleep, I just did sleep. Oh my goodness, I did the same thing. There we go. Nope. Is it really time.sleep? It is time.sleep. I don't know why I thought it wouldn't be time.sleep. That was idiotic in retrospect. I don't need to hold the button, I can just click it, but there we go. Holding button. Click the button on the very beginning as the Raspberry is plugged in, and then the button will stop it. What's more, we can also go into the connection, and we can, instead of doing while true, we can set it up with the holding button. So now we copy the code, all of it, go to the connection, and then paste it in. Now we don't want to, we would like to turn off the program with this, and then we would like to as well do while not while true, only while not halted. I figured out that if there was going to be an imaginary dimension, I'll have to recreate the Pythagoras theorem. I still do not understand what you mean by imaginary dimension, Last Bean Bender. It still keeps me up at night. Okay, now at the end of the while not halted, we'll just add this. There we go. Having a really hard time breathing for some reason. I don't know, maybe I need to get myself some plants, you know? Maybe I'm just lacking oxygen. But when I open the window, there are constantly people drag racing outside my apartment. So whenever I open the window, it just gets really loud on stream. Okay. I think this should be correct. I should test it, because I can just test it by running. Well, thank goodness I tested. What would you call a square in two imaginary dimensions? As I mentioned, Biesenbender, I have no clue because you haven't told me what you mean by an imaginary dimension. That's kind of, if I asked you, what would you call a square in two blue dimensions? Well, you need to tell me what you mean by an imaginary dimension. Because if you just mean, like, if you just mean something like C2, then I'm pretty certain a square in C2 is just a square. Like, I'm pretty certain a square in C2, but then, can you even describe a square? Well, obviously it would be like in... Obviously in C2 you would, like a metric space, I imagine, you would need in order to geometry. I don't know, I'm not a mathematician. Being sick at home, watching Make It Work while sipping coffee is a mood. Question remains, why didn't it work? I imagine the reason why it didn't work is because when we polled port, we got nothing back. Which is... it is in fact a bold idea. So this should be pointed sleep. It is a bold idea to just try it with the boot. However, if my theory is correct, it's a really bad idea to, you know what, let's just let's just also add this right here. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? Let's just also add this right here on the very beginning. And now we can stop the program. This, yeah, now we can just... There we go, I stopped it. Yeah, okay, well, that's great. So now... Okay, yeah. Exception occurred. Oh yeah, it already had a boot in it. Oh, that was risky, make it. Make it, that was risky. Okay, exception occurred. If I plug it in whilst holding the holding button, it connects just fine. Thank goodness my halting button works. Oh, make it. That was so idiotic. Wait, why did you blink again? No. Stop it. Plug yourself in. Alright. Print. Uh-oh. Why did you... Print 1. It worked. Okay, good. So it's connected now. The halting machine. The halting button works. The machine that does not even nothing. The machine that does negative of a thing. Okay, good. So that's something, which means that right now, if I'm not mistaken, if I just turn this off, bad idea. No, not what I meant. What I meant is, if I kill the terminal. If I kill the terminal, if I go to the module, connect the Pico, then run the Python script in the first 2 seconds. Uh-oh. The Python script doesn't work on its own. Or does it not work because there's nothing there to connect it to? Fudge. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Or do I need to just kill it and start a new one? Come on. I'm getting this Windows sound of something connecting. It worked once. I squared plus I squared is minus 2. So a hypotenuse would be square root of minus 2, which is also an imaginary number, so that would work fine. Do I even indulge? Because it would not work fine, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think hypotenuse... I'm pretty certain hypotenuse needs a real number. A positive real number, as far as I'm aware. So... What's name Pythagorean? Domain of the Pythagorean, I suppose. Theorem, obviously. Do you have the domain defined somewhere? I could have it with this, but I would still like a better source. Hi above, hi, welcome. No, I will not indulge. I will not indulge. I have my own problems to fix. Okay, so boot is running. The whole thing should stop it. It does not. The question is why? That's the question. I'm waiting for the boot to connect. Could it be because I don't know, I'll try anything at this point. How about now? I keep getting the Windows connection sound. Except it is not in fact connecting. And now I cannot even kill the terminal. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. VS Code is really struggling. Uh-oh, indeed. Yes, I trust the authors. I am the author. Okay. So I think the reason why it wasn't connecting actually was because I... Oh wait, is it connected right now? Okay, so I just backed out code. Alright, that's fine then. Well, I mean, okay, fine is a very optimistic view of the matter, but that is not a catastrophe. There we have it. It didn't, in fact, work. And I'm guessing my usage of the serial port right here is the cause of that. Haha. Question remains, how would we use it? I love PySerial, don't I? Already satisfied, splendid. I should just first try doing it probably on a different device. The only problem is I don't know what kind of device. Oscilloscope would really come in handy right now. Because with an oscilloscope what I could do is I could just where is it? There it is. This is a module. I don't know if I could actually do it. Now that I look at it, I don't think there's any data output. There's the plus, there's the minus. I don't know if there's data though. This is the awkward point where I need to fix something where I don't know what's broken. I couldn't hear accent. Raspberry Pi and MicroPython on Windows, not quite what I'm looking for. print. That does not sound like MicroPython. Right, okay. 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 From machine to input UART, right. Oh, I can just UART connection. Okay. Not terrible. Not entirely terrible. I could also set up a second UART as a USB, but that's above my pay grade. So, stream object and reading and writing is using a standard stream methods. Okay. Right. Simple as it could be so far. Python connection over serial. The big problem, once again, is the fact that in our case, we will not be able to get any. Actually, we could, in fact, get a text output if we wanted to. That is because we do have an LCD display. I mean, OLED display, whichever one, doesn't matter. Some combination of letters, including an L. We could just plug it in, and we could use this as our output instead of the terminal. And then this will tell us what happened. Right, now this is the SSD 1306, if I'm not mistaken. And in the main, in order to use it, all we have to do is just control over I2C. Okay, simple as it could be. It will not be the easiest thing to use, but we should be able to manage. Pin 9, pin 8, power, and ground. Okay. Right. The problem is we'll need to add a lot more devices in the future. But to be fair, right now we are just testing the USB connection, so I'm having a really hard time breathing. I don't know. Hold on, give me a second. I'll be right back. I just need to. Okay. A couple of deep breaths outside surely would have done the trick. I am back and I'm ready to go. Which means what we can do is we could just connect the I2C we can just connect the display through I2C to the Pico. We can use it to display text. Once we use it to display text, we can just use it to display all of the data that we are receiving through the USB cable. Once we get all the data we're receiving through the USB cable, we can just troubleshoot it. The holding button should stay because, my goodness, we don't need a holding button because my implementation is a tad bit idiotic. However, all the rest should be simple as it could be. We have done it before. So it is ground, then VCC. VCC second, like this. We just plug it in. Oh, that's why I didn't do it with a dingus. That's what I get for not using a dingus. That's what I get for not using a dingus to plug it in. The cable is already bent. Come on. Right, and then we just plug it into either first or second pin on this side should be fine, as far as I remember. And then the third one is the ground, which means we do it like this. Shit. Get in. Oh, you little prick. Come on. Get in. I'm not asking you for much. Just... There we go. Then next what we need is we need the ground, which is the first pin. Splendid. Once again, smash it in. I said, once again, smash it in. I keep bending the pins! This is really surprisingly difficult to get them in. Third pin right here should be the ground. But let me just double check. Yep, I remembered. Get in. Beautiful. Now if I do the thing. Did I just immediately burn an LED? Make it! Come on, get it together. What are you doing? Yeah, I immediately burned an LED. That was quick. Alright. Now I'm just gonna drop it somewhere behind me. Okay, splendid, great, good, fantastic. So, we have the display connected with the power pins. Now onto the data pins. Which are in order. SCK, which means... Actually, let me just turn this off. That's not necessary. So, SCK is the clock. Which means pin 9 and then data pin 8. So with this pin 9, that's the clock. which means pin right before the ground right here. 0, 1 ground, 2, 3, 4, 5 ground, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is right here, and this 9, okay. Nine and then 8 should be later. Just get in there. Oh, you little rapscallion, you. Beautiful. Now let's try it. So basically, as far as I'm aware, what we should be able to do is we should just be able to import SSD 1306 and then just set up the I2C connection. Curious that I didn't need to import pins. Alright. Okay, nothing. That is correct so far, because then what we do is we do OLED dot text testing 0 0 OLED show. Haha! It is backwards again. Alright. Right command. This. Show. Still backwards. Okay. OLED filled 0. Still backwards. That is just something, truly. Why are you still backwards? Will I really need to... Will I really need to like read it backwards? I do have a very shiny screen of my oscilloscope. I could just put it right here so that it would reflect and I could just read it normally. Or I could get, I don't know, a mirror. The point is, the OLED display shows. Which means that right now all we need to do is just in our connection well, we need to just print the data, don't we? Reverse true. I wish. I'm pretty certain OLED reverse true or something like that. No, Tefta, this happened to me on a live stream before actually. And funny enough, I went through the entire library. There is no reverse method or anything. There is nothing like that. There was a rotate. Oh no, there is a reverse, sorry. But what the reverse does is reverse makes the entire screen bright if with text black. That's what reverse does. It doesn't actually reverse the text. And after spending way too much time on it, I found this. I'm pretty with Quasar. Where basically this is the hex that should be responsible for mirroring the text. I don't know why it isn't working right now. It could be that there was actually something else to it as well. Hold on, let me see in my mask code. echo, and then main. No, it was just this. Aha, it was A. Okay, so write CMD, and then C, and then OLED till 0, and then OLED show, and then OLED text, and then OLED show. There we go, now it's not backwards. So it has to be the A hash before the C hash. So right here this should also have an A. Good to keep in mind. Okay, so now that we have OLED screen that's perfectly capable of displaying text, we will use it to just show our data. Which means that right here, instead of standard out write data, that's the question. Wait, is that the method we wanted to use? I already forgot.